Hi, my name is Janelle, and I'm going to do something I have never done before, and it honestly makes me super nervous because you all make me really nervous, but thanks be to God always. His love is always worth sharing, and so here I go. I was encouraged to / inspired by my good friend Carly to do what I'm about to do. Though she didn't really suggest going about it this way, I've decided to take it one step further and share it like this, even though it makes my hand shake and my tummy ache. Obviously, 2020 has been a crazy year for us all. It's been filled with worldwide challenges that we continue to face on together, as well as bringing upon some personal struggles into my life. It's been a hard year, but somehow, some way, I consider it still the best year of my life. I used to always get surprise reactions when I would tell people that I am Catholic, and then I would be surprised that they were so surprised because I always thought I was a pretty faithful person, but deep down inside, I always understood why everyone was so confused. My faith was always something super important to me, but I wouldn't really talk about it unless it was asked of me, and I wouldn't really participate in talks of religion because talks of faith could be a little tricky sometimes, but it was something that was really important to me. Looking back now, I would call my then self as being a back pocket Catholic, where my belief in God was something that I always held close by, but I kind of just left it there. My faith was never really a question, but in the same way that I never turned away from God, I never did anything to build my relationship with Him. Anyways, why am I sharing this? Where am I going with this? Well, because 2020 has actually been a pretty terrible year to me, and yet somehow I consider it the best year of my life so far. Now, how does that work? Well, that's because I realize that God has always been by my side, even when I unknowingly pushed Him aside. Before this year, I was living this life that was fast-paced, exciting, lavish, careless, reckless, and pretty crazy for the most part, and I was very caught up in it. My stupidity and my ego were partners in crime, and I foolishly believed that that was a life worth experiencing when you're young. Everything came so easily. It was like the universe was working in my favor, and I got everything I wanted, and more was still coming. Then this year came along and practically everything vanished pretty quickly. I won't get into specifics, but of these things branched out other difficulties within itself. I lost my daily structure, all types of relationships were tested, friends, family, all that. I lost my dog, work has been a giant question mark, and even not physically going to school somehow felt like a loss too. But the bigger struggles were the struggles that my family and I faced together. Now, I wasn't always looking, but He presented Himself anyways, and that's what He does. God presents Himself to us all the time in daily events. He never leaves us, not for a moment. It is up to us, though, to listen and let that love in. So here, for as long as I can remember, I would do this thing where if I heard something or read something that reminded me of God's love, I would quickly write it down right then and there. But now I've got this book that I use to collect all those beautiful words to further remind me that God is here. And one thing that came across me during this time were these beautiful words that I heard that said, "It is not man who seeks for God, it is God who seeks for man." And I wrote this down because it spoke to me. With how blinded I was with worldly riches, I didn't really have a sense of me to focus on God, though I didn't really see it that way then. I seriously thought that I was all golden in the whole faith department. My blurred vision really believed that I put Him above all things, and that is why I unknowingly stopped seeking Him. And the only reason that was made okay was because that was when He stepped in and said, "Listen up, I got you." It is not man who seeks for God, it is God who seeks for man. And like I said, He does this for us in our daily events. And here is one example of how He presents Himself to me in my daily life and remains there. At the beginning of the year, I stayed home for months before going out. And even now, I go out once in a blue moon. I don't always like it, but if it's one great thing it's done for me, it has brought me closer to my family. And all that time, well, still all this time, it has done something for me. It was like I was learning all over again. I was learning about them again. I was learning from them again. And I was loving them more than I ever have before. He reminded me that with all the trials in life, with all the people and all the things that come and go, the love of my family, which was ultimately part of His love, has always been there for me. I love them and I love Him more than I have ever loved them before, which is crazy because I didn't think I could love them any more than I already had. But it's true, it happens, love can grow. Now being home and practically having very little left of my own individual life has really rooted my feet back down to the ground. Before, I had everything I wanted, but what he made me realize was that all this time I had everything I needed, and all that I have is all that I need. And I can't lie, I don't completely love the fact that all of these trials happened all at once. But if I had to temporarily be stripped of the materialistic things that I had going in my life for me to understand the value of human weakness and gain a sense of humility and gratitude, then so be it. His way above mine, always. And I can go into further depth with this example and talk of more stories and more specifics of moments and people that I consider life-changing, but I'm not going to go into that here and now anymore. Bottom line is, God is 24/7. He didn't take a break with me, and he's not taking one with you. So to summarize, apart from him seeking me out, I had to listen and let his love in. God seeks us out. It is up to us to listen and let him in. Last thing, life is beautiful. Life has always been beautiful, and there are 1,000 struggles that we will encounter in our lifetime, and to be quite honest, they're never going to completely go away either. Yesterday's struggles will pass and tomorrow a new one will arise, but for the thousands of struggles that we go through, there are a billion more things in life to be grateful for. He never leaves us. He always loves us. He is always there. That's something that I have to keep reminding myself every day. Can't forget to thank God today. I thank him for all the good in my life, and I thank him for all the struggles in my life. Really though, it was the struggles that led me back to him and made me rediscover my faith. Now I know better. There is always room to grow in his love. And that is why I say I'm grateful for 2020. Thanks be to God, always. And thank you to those who watched this and allowed me to steal just a few moments of your time. I'm terrible at ending messages, but Happy New Year. I hope to see you all there. God bless, and okay, bye, love you.